Welcome back to Film Study, an All-American Universe podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, rate the podcast 5 stars, leave your thoughts down below. Here are me and Kaya talking about episode 207, the mid-season finale of All-American Homecoming. This is the second part of our review where we talk about Simone, Layla, Lando. We get into it all, including the love square thing that spanned about a season and a half across the universe. So, yeah. Here it is. Let me explain this. I actually, when I first watched this, upon the first watch, I was quite, very realistically, I was very annoyed watching this portion of the episode. And to put it lightly.
Don't I know it?
But when I tell you, in preparation, when I first started preparing for this podcast, I was trying to go back and watch these scenes. YouTube kept crashing. YouTube never crashes on me. And when I tell you, every time I would pull up a Simone and Layla scene, crash. I was like, I feel like they're trying to tell me something.
Oh my god.
I feel like this is like a sign. But anyway, I did end up rewatching the clips and Simone and Layla, Simone and Lando. So, Simone has never won more than 6 matches in a row. That was her tennis curse, is that she's never won more than 6 matches in a row without something going wrong. After the fact, Keisha talks to Simone about that. Because she's just like, oh yeah, I have this thing, and she's just like, okay, well, you'll figure out your assignment. She had the assignment on integrity, which we mentioned at the top. And then she was just like, well, and there's also drama with Damon and Lando, which we all heard at the promo, and she's just like, oh, that's just called being Simone Hicks. That's just called being Simone Hicks. She was like, look, that truth hurts. So anyway, she was giving her advice, and she was just like, ask Lando was good on being a stitch. She has the best one-liners on this show. And so Simone is trying to figure out how to talk to Lando about leaking the tape. She goes up to him, is about to ask him, but then she just asks if he wants to work with her on their history project or whatever. So she leaves that encounter with Lando, telling Keisha that she's one step ahead of the curse. Before bam, who pops up?
Lily girl.
And I was just like, is the episode telling us that Layla is the curse? I did not connect that again when I was first watching, but I was just like, oh, so they made it even worse, actually.
Oh my gosh. Her
or
past.
Is the curse
her
the
past.
drug test? Her past is the curse. You know, Layla comes and, they do their little hellos across the room.
So awkward.
And it was very uncomfortable. I was like physically uncomfortable watching this scene.
Wait, it's the eyebrows though that she led with. Simone.
Stop. And then when Layla
God,
went
so
to
fake.
hug her, I was like, oh
man. She was so disgusted.
She was very disgusted. I was like, really? So Layla essentially is just like, it introduces Reva, blah 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 blah. Reva's just like, oh yeah, I was dragging her around campus, and Layla's just like, no, I wanted to come. But she invites Simone. She did give her the option. It wasn't like you come to my da-da-da. I'm not taking no for an answer. It wasn't one of those things. She said you could come to Patience's show, XYZ. We can talk then, because Simone says she was busy. So again, they have that awkward encounter at the first jump. She invites her. She invites her to the show. She comes. Encounter number two, when Simone, dodged the first one, was able to get out of the first conversation because Layla wanted to talk to her for a second. Layla comes up to her for the second time. Can I say Greta's Canadian accent jumped out?
You always say this, and I never hear it.
You didn't hear it? No. She
I'm
definitely.
So bad with accents, so
I was like, she must have been so exhausted, because it hasn't come out quite in this way since, I feel like, season 1. Like season 1, it was really strong, but she was just like, I don't want to drag this out. I drag this out.
You're annoying.
That's what she said. But she was very up to try to be upfront with Simone, and Simone was just like, you know what, save it. I know you've been hooking up. I know you and
You
Jordan
know
have been hooking
nothing.
up. I figured it out at Christmas.
Okay.
And it was just like, so you really thought they was doing something either like before you and Jordan broke up or like very shortly after Jordan broke up, because Layla then corrects and is just like, well, actually we weren't hooking up by Christmas, which I was
Yes,
like, Layla,
let
why
her
did you say
know.
it in that way? I was like, let her know, but I was also just like, why did you say it in that way? She said we actually weren't hooking up
We
by
weren't.
Christmas. It's just like you could have phrased it differently. Was I the only
Just
one
to
who
let
thought
you
that?
know, we're hooking up now.
Yeah.
Now. But it's even more than just hooking up, girl. But I am sleeping with him for a fact.
So exactly. She was just like, oh, so, but now you are right. And she's just like, well, it's a little more serious than hooking up, which is why I wanted to talk to you. Uh, and she's just like, you know what? I don't need to hear it. I don't care about you easing your guilt. I love that Layla said guilt? Question mark.
Where? Guilt where? Not me. I said,
It
not
was just
you.
it was so under the radar that she said guilt. why, why would I feel guilty?
Like, yeah, no, no, no. I said no such thing.
I didn't say I was guilty. I just said I wanted to be upfront with you. Guilt. Nothing happened while you two were together. That doesn't make it okay, Layla.
Girl, bye. Like, what?
Okay, to be fair, let's. So we've already talked about their first two encounters. What do you think was going through Simone's mind at this time? I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair before we get into encounters 3 and 4. What was Simone doing? What was Simone thinking?
At this point, I feel like she's just going off of what she's seen or what she thinks she's been seeing over the last, what, couple weeks since Christmas.
And really, I guess since 418 or 4 and before that was
Well,
109 ish,
with the phone calls.
right? Yeah,
Well, phone
the
calls.
secretive the,
Yes.
the
Like,
secretive calls with her friend Layla.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Literally, she's going off of phone calls. She's going off of with her actually seeing them interact with each other. And then, okay, here we go with the Christmas episode, right? This girl shows up. She's in a room with Jor,
Yeah.
and his head is locked on Lele. Like, he is
Yeah.
not checking for you at all. But you see him, and you see him staring at her. You see him smiling at her. And
Yes.
then you see them at this party later on where, it's supposed to be the friends, family, everybody getting together. And they're
And let's hold
both
on.
just,
Let's not skip over the fact that she, obviously the main thing that she saw that she's basing this off of, right, is the phone calls that were taken, right?
mhm.
And then it was when she got to LA, they were together, which she honestly came in at the most unincriminating moment that she could have come in during that time.
Definitely.
But she saw that they were just standing together in the beach house, and then when he was helping her with the hats, right, and then them sitting next to each other,
Yes.
versus then when she came again to LA over Christmas break, she saw Jordan looking at Layla.
Yeah. And I'm like, even when they're in the house though, like at the party, they're both separate. Like they're not even together, but you see
Yeah,
them
they weren't
cheesing
even in her
away.
face for real.
Weren't even in her face, but you see them cheesing away. Like they've been living their best lives for the last who knows how long. Like they're unfazed by anything else going on. So I'm like, this girl sitting here
It's
had
so
all,
with all of that, she thought that they were hooking up.
yes. Like what? Just because you see him happier than he ever was with you? Like what?
Kaya, Kaya, stop. I cannot believe you. Oh my gosh.
You see them both happy as can be. Like you've never seen Lele like this, and you're shocked. And you're even more shocked because Jor is the reason. Can't take it. She was dying.
They weren't even together at the party. Like they had no interactions that she saw at the party, at the Christmas party. Which Keisha tried to point out to her several times, that like you're noticing maybe some feelings on Jordan's part, and you don't know how Layla feels. Uh, and again, she had that moment way back over Christmas break, which she said it's time for Layla and I to have a little chat. So she went from it's time for me and Layla to have a conversation to avoiding conversation when that opportunity presents itself twice, because it's the whole thing with the gift, and she
Mm-hmm.
decided not to say anything then, if that's when she figured it out, right? Like, I figured it out over Christmas.
I
Okay, and you
figured it
gave me a
out.
record player with
Like
all my
what?
hit songs on it. Like, I'm trying to be calm.
Oh my gosh, her math not
And so I'm
mathing.
just trying
Yes.
to understand, like, again, I want to attribute it to the fact that she was caught off guard with this, with Layla showing up at Princeton.
Showing
But
up at Brinks and cheese, and still, this girl still got a smile on her face, which makes her know she's still happy.
honestly, that's probably it. That's probably it. It was because she was a little too happy. She was a little
She
too
looked
happy on
like she
campus.
looked like she was living her best life these last few weeks with Jordan. Still, like what?
She said, "How dare
Yo,
be laughing in my face?" Yeah.
she thought she was about to be miserable out here on this tour. No, girl. Look at her
Like,
over
you a
there.
little too excited to see me. You should be just as upset as I am.
Each curl is curled perfectly. She got the matching fit
Stop.
on, and she is just cheesing away up in your school. And Simone said, "What?
We need to wait. We need to put a stop to this now.
Oh no!"
So
Yeah.
that was so she blew up, right? It doesn't make it okay, Layla. The other thing that I have, anyway, well, or no, I'm gonna say it right now because it's the opportunity is presenting itself right now. This is the second time Layla's gotten yelled at in public, um, in this sort of way,
And just be taking it.
and just be.
Just took it. You know, it's the kind heart. It's the goodness in her.
I'm glad that Simone was just like, maybe I'm doing too much, and ran off with Lando.
Love that, by the way. That was hilarious.
It was very funny, and had Layla just like, okay. So it just looks like Simone wasn't ready for the conversation. She was not ready for the conversation. Maybe she thought that she
I'm here
was
to
and she
see her.
wasn't. And so Simone and Lando go, and Lando's like, "What was that? What was that?" in the elevator.
Yo, did you see how he was staring at her head in that elevator?
Yes.
Oh, I died. That was
Is she
hilarious.
gonna say anything? Like, you just
Like, yeah.
dragged me out. We just changed plans. Like, what's going on? He was just again like, "Are you gonna explain any of this to me?" And she was just like, "What happened with your friend?" Which is very interesting that he assumed that Layla was her friend. According to her, according to her, Layla's not my friend. Now, Layla had called her friend earlier, right? "You're my friend, so I don't want to drag this out. I want to be
Mm.
upfront honest." And now Simone's saying to Lando, "Layla's not my friend. I'm not sure if she ever was."
She sound hurt.
And then he's like, "What did she do that was so bad?" And she was like, "Oh, she's dating my ex, and apparently they've caught feelings." Again!
Put some respect on their relationship.
Simone, you were the person to say you don't even see it. So what do you mean apparently they've caught feelings? Can you explain that to me?
It's okay. Hold on. I can't with her. Look, she's making it real hard to fight for her out here.
Like, I'm really trying to fight. Like, I'm really trying to understand her point of view. And once we get to the end, I'm going to say what I think it is, but go ahead.
Take it back to 418, right? This girl was like, everybody sees it.
That's what I'm saying.
So clearly, you noticed something between them. So the simple fact now you're like, apparently they've caught feelings. Apparently, where, girl? Like, you want to pick and choose when you see something based on how you're feeling in the moment because you were caught off
That
guard
part.
by her showing up here now and you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
deal with the situation. Now you don't really see it and you're trying to understand.
Exactly. It's fine. She's a human being. She's going to have her feelings and she's not going to be prepared. But to say, like, apparently they've caught feelings, or to, like, get upset that it's maybe more serious than you thought. I don't know. It's just like you already thought, like,
You said before you saw something.
when you broke up with him, the first words out of your mouth were, "What's going on between you and Layla?" So clearly you've already had this line of thought. So this is not like, nothing is new to you. Like nothing that Layla is saying should be new to you. In fact, she was disconfirming some of the thoughts that you had. They did nothing when you were together. Like they weren't hooking up by Christmas.
Facts. Facts.
It's the by Christmas that gets me every time. But we were
Oh
hooking up
my
by Christmas.
gosh.
That was a poor choice of words, I gotta say. Uh, but yeah, so she's disconfirming some of this stuff that you had in your mind, and you're like more upset about it. You know what I mean? Like she, like what? They've been dating for less than you thought, and you're more upset about it.
Okay, well, we'll probably save it for the, well, no, we're going to talk about it now. You know what I also think?
I love how both you and I are just like, am I not gonna save it? No, I'm gonna talk about it now. Go ahead.
I feel like it's also the fact that it was easier for her to be like, oh, I know you guys are hooking up, or like everybody sees it, which no, they don't, girl. But I think for her, it was just like you see a little something there, but you didn't know, like she didn't know the depths as to how far things went with them. So
Mm-hmm.
now having this conversation with her where she's like, well, no, it's not just hooking up, it's deeper than that, yada yada.
And
Like,
Layla saying it's deeper than that. I
yes,
think
and live.
it holds more weight.
Yes, like you've already tried to have this conversation with Joy. You're the one. She's the one that fully broke up with him. We're gonna leave it at that. But
And you know what?
now,
I am. But you know what? Us having this conversation does. It's a little bit in defense of her, but trust me, I still have my thoughts. But I feel like it was almost like she knows Jordan well enough to know now, especially after being told by Liv at all, right? Like Jordan's very impulsive. Jordan does
mhm.
things out the wazoo or whatever. So she always sort of had that to lean back on in her mind. Like, sure, Jordan's into Layla or whatever, but Jordan also is like, does whatever, you know what I mean? And so to hear from Layla, oh, it's a little bit more serious. What do you mean, like Layla? What do you
Literally,
mean it's more serious
she's
than
like
that?
deep. Since when does Jordan do deep? Since he's been with Lele girl. Like what?
Literally. Literally. So I think it was just like, it was another level of seriousness that Layla was now saying, oh,
She
it's
wasn't
more
prepared
serious
for.
than that. She was not prepared for that. That just clicked in my mind for real, for real. Uh, so I okay. But here's the other thing. Back on that, apparently they caught feelings, and then Lando again defends, and she was just like, "Oh, so she was like trying to tell you instead of hiding it. She flew all the way over here to tell you that." And she was just like, "Of course you're defending her and don't care that she like broke girl code." Number one, did you not just say
Go ahead.
Layla and I are not friends? I'm not sure if we ever were.
Look, she knows not of what she speaks. She's all over the place. Her emotions are all over.
All over the place. And now, so you're holding her to girl code in one breath and saying that you're not friends in a totally different breath. And also, let's mention girl code. Now we care about girl code because when it was season 3.
Take it back. Take it back.
And listen, I'm for Spolivia. I was all for Vega. I was just like, Spolivia got together in Vegas, ha! And I'm like, I'm sad for Layla, but like, Spolivia needs to be together, right? I didn't care about Go Girl either, and neither did Simone. Neither did Simone. And so the fact that we had Simone telling, and it was literally as Liv is like, because she, she talked to Simone during this period of time because she couldn't talk to Layla, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
talked to Simone during this period of time, and it was just like, oh, I don't want to hurt Layla. This was around Friendsgiving, and she's just like, you know what? Like, Layla is not gonna be shocked. Like, oh, that ship has sailed in Vegas. Ain't nobody gonna be
Her
shocked. Simone,
words.
hold on,
Her
Simone, ain't
words.
nobody gonna be shocked. You already knew about Jordan. That there's a different set of rules when it's for you, and that makes sense. But let's not pretend that you care about girl code.
Yo, fake.
I'm not gonna say she's just very. I think you said it well when you were just like, she was very in her feelings. She was very up and down, and she just did not know how to handle it. It was sort of just throwing out all of these things, because she really just didn't know how to handle hearing that from Layla's own mouth that they were serious or whatever the case may be.
I'm gonna give her that.
But again, just the girl code comment was very interesting. And we'll get back to it when we get back to their last conversation. But then she ends up going off on Lando, and she's just like, "Of course you don't care about Layla violating girl code because you dropped the video, leaked the video." And he was just like, "Oh well, essentially that you're judging me, right?" Um,
His
and he
face
was
there
just like,
killed me.
yeah, it was just like you make quick assumptions, which by the way she was right, and he later comes back and is just like, oh yeah, I did link the video.
I
So
mean,
it's like, what
okay,
was that all about?
she was right, but also I'm like, you spent this whole time prior to this situation with you and Lando here, this interaction here, you were spending this whole time trying to figure out how to bring this up to him. You were having
Hmm.
trouble how to bring it up to him. And the second you get tight and you're
Yeah,
upset,
then it
and
came out.
now, yes, and now you just want to throw it out there without even considering like how you're gonna approach him with this topic here. I said, girl, get out of here.
And I so it wasn't that it's you're letting it fly, but I'm just like, it's not quite in that way that I'm like, girl, get out of here. But it's like, Simone, like, to your point, she was considering how she was going to bring this up, and then when she got upset, she did it. And again, that's a very human, normal reaction, and I'm not saying that she can't have a normal human reaction, but I'm also saying at the same time, people can only work according to Simone Hicks's timetable, is what I'm understanding from this episode. I saw somebody say, "Oh, Layla was lying because she said they weren't hooking up by Christmas and she had already kissed him." And it like had a singular kiss in which right after the fact she said, "You just broke up with Simone." That's not like, let's not pretend like they were doing anything of
Gosh.
like, they had one kiss and she like literally felt immediately bad about it and was just like, "You literally just broke up with Simone." So no.
No, don't.
But after this episode, I was just like, girl, you might as well have been kissing him the whole time, the whole 6 weeks, for how Simone was acting like she
Literally.
for the TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, whoever's been following that GMA scandal thing, that Simone came at Layla like that's what Jordan and Layla were doing. Like, that's how she came at her. You would think that they were together while they were still together. As soon as he and Simone broke, as soon as she broke up with him, that they were just like, let's sleep together. Like, that's not like, no.
Yeah, this girl was shaping so many things in her mind about what they were doing when they weren't doing anything. So I think
Literally nothing.
now, with them
Because he
actually,
told her about the bears. How could he tell her about the bears? I don't know. They've been friends for life? Question mark.
bro, it's bears. Relax.
And here's the other thing. Okay, so let's get to their third encounter after she did the thing about Lando. We've resolved the Lando part. They ended on fine, and he was just like, "You were right, but it's because I wanted to transfer or
We
whatever."
like him.
That's how they ended that, her and Lando. But so Layla comes again, and again. Let me say this: Layla didn't like force herself in any of these situations, right? She
Nope.
was very sort of deferential to Simone. Again, sort of, Simone texts her to come. She does come before her workout, or when she said after it or whatever, but she was just like, I thought we could do it both together. And Simone is just like,
Lele has
whatever.
a job. Like, she works. Maybe she she has stuff to
She
do.
literally said I was trying to kill two birds with one stone. I had to get it work out anyway. Look.
Stop. Go ahead.
Someone said my workouts are my therapy. It's where I find my peace. I was just like, oh Lord. Now they have her telling Layla like, oh, my whole piece is at risk now. Like, please. Like, you invited her here. Calm down.
Yo.
But so anyway, she's just like, just try to keep up. Which, by the way, it
Ridiculous.
is completely in Layla's character to just be able to keep up with an actual college athlete in tennis, which is one of the hardest sports ever. And Simone was trying to do extra. And Layla was still killing it. Like,
She
what?
wanted to see homie fail.
She did. She did, and you know what? Here's the thing, and I'm like, obviously the Layla fan in me is coming out a lot. Obviously, I've said all of this, like, Liv and Layla are my number 1A, 1B, and what's so funny about that is, like, Layla's just like, okay, okay, you win, but you know she could have just completed the workout. Let's be real. Simone is over there, like, catching her. I was like, what are you doing? No, Layla was catching her breath too. Let me know.
Simone, Simone was stressed out. Like,
She was stressed because it's like that. You gotta let that go. You gotta let this thing go between you and
oh
Layla.
my
For real,
gosh.
it's making you. You don't even know how to be. You don't even know how to be because you holding on to this. Anyway, so she says, she's just like, Simone's just like, I had this whole speech prepared, which I would have loved to hear the speech. I actually think if we had heard said speech,
What
it
you
would
think?
have made I think it would have made more sense. I think I would have been less upset watching it in real time if I had heard the speech. Like, if we had heard her say directly to Layla's face, like, you know what? Jordan told you things that, like, I only shared with him. Like, that would have given us some emotional weight to be like, oh yeah, that is hurtful, or like, you were in my wedding. Like, none of these things that should have come up came up in this conversation. So it was
Hmm.
just like, why you're not even having Simone say any of these things to her, on top of the fact that you didn't even, like, hold Jordan to the same account, uh which we'll talk about later on. And so it's just like, you have an attitude with her to have an attitude with her, but you're not
Hmm.
even, like, bringing up the reasons why you could have an attitude and be super super validated, and you are validated in your feelings, but, like, you just you out here looking crazy. I'm sorry, you out here looking
Right?
crazy.
I feel like it's also they probably didn't let her say anything because we already got her doing the whole breakup in 418 on top of her
Mm-hmm.
letter, like hearing her voice.
Right.
So they're just
Right.
like, oh, okay, we already gave you that moment there to express how you're feeling to him. So it probably didn't really matter to have her have that conversation with Lele for them, but for us, I could see
Yeah.
us feeling. I don't know. I don't know. I probably would still look at her like, girl,
It just
what?
felt incomplete. It felt very very incomplete. Um and so that was that. But anyway, she was just like, I just want to know why. I just want to know why. Period. And so Layla gets into this whole thing where she's just like, you know what, look, my whole life everybody leaves, my parents, friends like you, and then when things got hard this past year, really hard, Jordan was there as a friend. He stayed. We didn't plan for this to happen. It just happened, and she never wanted a guy to get between us, and and especially not Jordan. And you know what? For Simone, I really loved that Layla said it in the way that she did. Uh,
Yes.
in specifically focusing on the, like, we didn't plan for this to happen, because Simone was really acting like
Girl, this girl acting like they realized they had these feelings and plotted to keep it a secret from her
but
for
that
as long as they
Layla
could.
plotted. She was acting like Layla plotted to steal Jordan.
What? Oh my gosh.
Literally. And so I'm glad that she, whatever, I came here to save our friendship, and whatever happens next is up to you. Here's the other thing. I want to quickly touch on this. Simone and Amara talk, and she's just like, "Oh, Layla showed up," and Amara's like, "How do we feel about this?" And she's just like, "You know what? Well, she and Jordan are together, like, for real."
Yo, like, why you keep acting brand new? Bro,
She said they together real bad. Like, that's what we've been saying. They together real bad.
like for real. Girl, yeah, for real. Like,
Why is this such a shock to you? Like, I don't understand. It's still, even after all of that, even after Layla saying, "Oh, it's a little bit more serious than that," even after Layla explaining, like, how they got together, and you're just like, "Oh, they're together
conversation.
for real."
Like, she legit just sat here and poured, well, not even her whole heart, but she done opened up a piece of her heart to you up in this freaking Jimmy. You're gonna sit here and be like, yeah, they're together for real. For real, auntie. Like, yes.
Which, look,
I can't believe it, auntie.
Please. And so, she's just like, I want. She says, "I want to be the bigger person, but I don't know if I can be happy for this."
Yo, yo, come on.
And it's like, so you lied to Jordan which we haven't even gotten to fully explore that, but she again, like, this energy that she had for Layla did not exist for Jordan. Did not exist for Jordan. With Jordan, she was just like, and I want you to be happy with whoever that's with. But now, when the person that's with is right in front of your face, you're just like, oh, not you. Not
Not
you.
no, I'm not accepting this.
And literally,
Yeah.
if it had been any other person, she would have been like, okay, whatever. You want to come to family dinner, but for Layla, oh, it doesn't make it okay.
That doesn't make it okay, Layla. Girl, shut up. Get out her party.
I'm a give you the runaround. I'm gonna ask you to come 20, 50 times to my campus. Like,
Right?
come on,
Oh,
bro.
bruh, got my girl spending all this money on Ubers. I'm like, I cannot.
And I feel like I would have been so okay with this episode had she given the same energy to Jordan in 201, but she didn't. She didn't. And so it's just like, why do you have this energy for Layla that you don't have for any other character? And on top of that, for the writers, for me, it was just like, why do we keep putting Layla in these situations where she's and I'm gonna get into it as we get into their last conversation, because obviously, as she tells Amara, like, I don't know if I can be happy for them. Am I a horrible person for that? And Amara's like, oh no, honesty is a good trait, and blah 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 blah. Some relationships are worth fighting for, others aren't. You just got to be honest or whatever. And that's when she ends and is, typing up her integrity thing, and she's just like, for me, I'm learning that integrity is being honest. And I was just like, were you ever not honest? Like, you've literally been yelling at Layla this whole
Mm.
entire episode.
See, where is
She did. I'm exaggerating. Obviously, she just yelled at her that one time in the middle, and she
but
obviously
it
like
felt
left.
like
So
so much more.
it felt like so much more, because it's been since 501 where she's just like, oh, you have my leftovers. So obviously she didn't say it to her face, but she said it behind her back, which is like,
Yeah, girl. Whatever.
and
I don't take her serious.
and I hate it because, like, I really love Simone, and this episode just made me so mad because it was like, and she's still lying, like, in the middle of being like, and for me, that's being honest. She literally tells Layla after calling her to campus again,
Another Uber.
another Uber, uh, I want you and Jordan. And first of all, she left her on a cliffhanger, right? I want you and Jordan to be happy. Pause. But in order to do that, I need to be happy for you from afar.
Girl, you're already miles away. Like, what? Get
It's
out of
like,
here.
first of all, you weren't even happy for them from afar, clearly, because when she came, let's not, and we don't even have to count when she came. In 201, you were just like, yeah, is Jordan moving on a little fast? So you weren't even happy for them from afar. Like, come on. And then it's just like, if you can't be happy for them in close proximity, that just means that you can't be happy for them, and that's okay. Just
Just
admit
admit
that you
that.
can't. Just admit that you can't be happy for them.
Yo. Oh my.
And then
Just
it's
be
like,
like, I'm happy you told me the truth, but
exactly
now I
and that's
cannot be
all she
happy.
had to like, this is in again, okay, let me finish. So they have Layla saying Simone wait to try to, do some last ditch everything. She's just like, look, I know our vortex, which she,
Girl, you are not included. What? You were not even
it's
there when they
like
got
you
the
were.
name. Like, what?
I know, I was just like,
Who
I'm
texted you the
literally
name? Like, who informed you that it was now called? I don't even want to say it because they
I
say it so
know.
much. But, like,
Look, I know it wasn't Liv, because Liv was shocked that Simone was even in town for Christmas.
Like,
Stop.
what?
Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Who shot you an email saying we are now known as the Vortex?
She's like, she's,
We being everyone that's currently still here in Beverly and Crenshaw. Like, what?
bro. So she said, I know our vortex gets messy, but I'm looking for less mess in my life. Um, it felt like the little Jenny in Georgia meme where what's her Jenny is just she does the little like soldier off like she really thought she ate that like and then the voiceover has her saying like say goodbye to relationships that no longer serve you. Here's the thing, and this is the major point that I wanted to bring aside from the fact that she didn't give the same energy to Jordan. Layla was the most respectful to Jimone's relationship, to Jordan's and Simone's relationship, than anybody involved in that love square thing that they had going on across the universe.
Uh-huh.
And she still is the only one who was facing any consequences, right? And it wasn't just consequences like, oh, you lose your friend, but it was just like, no, like you're gonna, first of all, she hasn't even had this conversation that she had with Simone with anybody in All American, right? She
Nope.
hasn't even had the chance to do that. And so the first person that she's like low key unpacking her trauma to is just like, I know you said that everybody leaves you, but guess what? I'm one of them. Like, what?
Yo.
And again, it's not the fact that like I always was just like they're gonna end cordial, maybe not like friends, right? But why is it that Layla is always the person to get the consequences like for essentially doing nothing wrong? Because I'm sorry, well I'm exaggerating, but she really didn't really do anything wrong. She really didn't. Like what is
In this
she
case,
fell in love with
no.
somebody, and she fell
Yes,
in love with somebody, right?
for a
And
fact.
she tried it's like she extended it, right? She was like, I'm not gonna do this right away, we're gonna wait X many months or whatever, and really tried to like not give in to these feelings that she was having. And again, she was the most respectful because we haven't even touched the Damon of it all.
Oh my gosh. Like, don't even get us started.
We haven't even touched the Damon of it all, and we don't even really need to get into the Damon of it all. But here's the thing, I would have preferred if Simone had come with the same energy that she came in. What was that, 10, I think it was like 109, when Jordan came, and it was either 109 or 110 when Jordan came, and oh, it was that same conversation that was just like, oh, he's having these secretive calls with our friend Layla, and she was just like, and I know this is like it's a double standard, and I know it's kind of hypocritical of me, but I would be so upset if he went on an overnight trip with another girl, even though she had just, and she was acknowledging, right, that she was a hypocrite. I would have preferred that she acknowledged that she was a hypocrite. I would have preferred that she was like, Layla, you know what? I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. This is just something that I can't do, and I can't be happy for you, and I really wish I could be happy for you, but I can't. And I know that's like kind of crazy, because again, I'm not like not innocent or whatever. But the fact that this girl said, I need less mess in my life, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
That, that's exactly why she ended up where she did.
To use
Exactly.
Patience's words in a nice way, girl, what?
What? Come again?
I don't like. Just admit you're a hypocrite. You was fine when it was the mess of Vegas. You was fine when it was the mess of Damon. But Layla is sitting here up front and like going at your pace and doing everything. And no, it's actually your life is too messy for me. What?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I cannot.
And I cannot wait until this comes back around and we see, when they have enough seasons and the homecoming group starts dating within their circle. Because I'm like, Do y'all still need less mess? Do y'all
Right?
still need less mess in your life? Even some fans being like, yeah, I don't understand why they date. First of all, like, people act like All American is the only teen drama that has people dating within their circle, which is incorrect. Incorrect. And again, Layla has been a, the only person to face consequences. First, you had JJ slut shame her, right? Which we don't know if she knows about that, but has JJ slut shame her, then has to come and is doing all of this extra stuff to talk to Simone, only for her to be like, I need less mess in my life. And so I was just like, I was over it. But what did you think of that ending conversation?
The ending conversation. Free. She's free to go back to her man. I did not take that thing seriously. Like
Clearly.
also, also I look at it as like I'll accept how she was with Layla compared to how she was with Jor, just because Jordan. Um, it's the full name for her. Just because it was like she had more time to sit with Layla and Jor's relationship. So now,
Hmm.
by the time Layla came to campus and like was trying to approach her and talk to her, I feel like that caught her so off guard to one now it's being basically confirmed by her that they have something going on between the two of them because she's trying to talk to you. Why else would she be trying to talk to you after y'all probably haven't spoken in weeks, at this point? And now she's
Months.
on your turf. Yeah. Wait, no, it was weeks, wasn't it? It was just Christmas. Where
It
we
was
at
Christmas
now?
and now it's like
Oh yeah,
March.
you're right. It definitely has been months. So now she's trying to talk to you on your turf, which again, your guard is up even more so. So I feel like she's had more time to sit and think of what they could have been doing that whole time, which is why she has so many wrong thoughts. Um, and
The way
now
you're
having to
emphasizing wrong.
And now to have this girl trying to talk to you, she's trying to put on her terms as to when they could talk, just to have some sort of control over the situation. So I get why she was coming at her that way and wasn't really having that same energy for George, just because by the time it got to Lele now trying to talk to her about it, it had built up so much more.
Hmm. Yeah, and I genuinely think, here's the thing. We said this in our when we did a breakdown on Jordan and Layla, but this crystallized for me that Simone really did break up with Jordan because she saw how he was with Layla. Like,
Oh, most definitely. She would have stayed.
she was not going to break up with Jordan. I remember Carmen being like, "Oh no, she already had that plan in her mind." But I'm like, "No, I feel like this episode, if nothing else, this episode proves that that was not the case."
Girl, she would have been holding on to that relationship and still having them secret feelings for Damon over there trying to hide
Literally,
them.
literally.
No,
And
not
then
here.
to hear from Layla's own mouth that it was serious, she was like, "Oh hell
Like,
no!"
what? She said, serious. That's something we never really had. And now you're telling me y'all two got it with each other?
They were married. Don't do that to them. It was a sham marriage, but they were married.
What marriage? What
Oh
wedding?
please,
What?
I did. She was literally just gonna continue to date Jordan and
Definitely.
continue to have these feelings for Damon on the side. Like, that is the only thing that makes sense with what we saw on our screens in 207 and what we saw 201.
Yes. I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense though from when they broke up. I
You said when they broke up too.
I feel like when they broke up, you could already tell that she would have stayed had she not put two and two together.
I've been trying to make it make sense for myself, like why she was so hard on her, but and people may disagree with me when I say she was so hard on her, but I think she was hard on her. Like, I think that we can be honest with that because she let Jordan off so incredibly easy. Um she's completely within her rights to be upset. And that's
Yo.
I just don't know why she. And the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm because it's just like now I'm just like rambling at this point. But it's also that she didn't apologize for yelling at her in public? Question mark.
No, girl, she didn't even think twice about that. That thing never crossed her mind again.
Didn't think twice about it. Like, didn't she said like, I appreciate you for being honest or whatever, but she didn't say like, I also appreciate you for like coming down here and being willing to talk to me. I don't know. It just wasn't like it. just felt incredibly odd. And it was just like, you're doing all of this and you have all of this energy for a girl that you said wasn't your friend anyway.
I get that, but I also feel like the reason why it also feels so incomplete and odd is because they weren't never like that deep of friends. Like, yeah, I feel like
That
I,
part, we haven't even touched that.
girl, come on, like that's why
And
they
people
didn't
are
give us
like,
nothing
she was in
more.
her wedding. Stop acting like that was anything
Out of here,
serious.
like.
Legitimately, she was in her wedding because we did not know any of Simone's friends.
Simone only had like two
on
friends.
the
You're out of here.
We didn't know any of Simone's friends at the time, and there was nobody else to do it because Liv was Jordan's best woman. Like, let's be real. And then I
It was
saw
a
somebody be like,
mess.
okay, if that was the case, why wasn't Laura in Grace's wedding, or Denise, why wasn't Denise in Grace's wedding? And I'm like, didn't they
Oh.
literally only had family in their wedding. Like, they only had family in their wedding. And uh literally Spencer was the man of honor, wasn't
Uh-huh.
he? So, like, literally the same logic applies. Like, I don't know, like,
She ain't
they
had that
weren't
many
gonna have
options.
Denise. Exactly, they weren't gonna have Denise be Carter's best woman. Like, be real.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, it's just like, yeah, most of their conversations. Somebody said their conversations didn't pass the Bechdel test. Like, they only talked about men.
Bruh, they barely spoke like that. They only spoke when they had to. Like she needed help with the what was it? When she tried to oh that fit was so cute too. But she had like the ponytail with the curls and she had on the skirt and the blue top Lele and she came to Simone in the hall and was trying to do like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was it?
yeah,
Operation Bad Idea? I think that's what they were
yeah, yeah,
calling it.
yeah.
Yes, like she needed help with something. Like
It was that. It was they talked about school. That was after they talked about Liv and Asher, but then they talked about the dreams, and that was to set up the spinoff, to be like, oh, I don't know what to talk about for my college essays or whatever, and that was a conversation with Liv. And then they had the conversation that was, you know, Simone and Layla talking about Jordan.
yeah.
In Jordan's defense,
They were
but no.
dropping hints, people dropping hints.
They talked about Jordan, they talked about Liv. And she was just like, oh, you haven't been by to see her. And then it was, what was the other conversation? It was literally the conversation when she found out that she had the match, and they were talking about prom.
They
So
were not
it's
really friends.
I'm just trying to lay out like everything that's happened so that the audience can see.
They were acquaintances, y'all. Acquaintances.
They were acquaintances. Listen, Layla called her a friend. So
she,
that
she, quit it, girl. Quit it.
so that was what it was. And it's like, they were friendly. They were friendly. I don't think that they should have had Layla like fight as hard as she did for it, but Layla called her a friend. I understand why she did it. But Simone also called them not friends, and so it was. This is just another roundabout way to say that I just was not happy how this episode ended up shaking out. And I don't think that their friendship was deep enough to for Simone to feel the way that she did about Jordan and Layla being together. Um the whole groundwork of Layla being in Simone's wedding or whatever didn't even come up in conversation. So
Definitely did not. Like,
that's the end of that. I mean, do you have any more thoughts on that?
okay, I'll give her Simone. I'll give her a little bit of it just because, like I said, she doesn't have friends. I don't think outside of these people here that they've shown us. Like, we've never seen any homegirls before when she was in high school. She didn't have many friends, I feel like before she met Jor and got in the group, we're gonna put her there because of Jor. She was not a part of the vortex, y'all. But I feel like at the time, also with her family not really being in her life, she didn't have that many people. So I think the reason why she also feels like this is because, look, she came back for Christmas break and was hanging out with these people. Like, they didn't show us going to hang out with her parents. They didn't show us or talk about her going to hang out with any other friends except these people here.
Mm,
She came to a
it's
party
true.
with these people here. So I feel like this is the only like true connections she has back in Beverly, which is why she left out of the house like that, the beach house, when she was leaving, looking all depressed and everything. Because looking back at them
And it's
all
like, why
sad,
did you get her the gift of that? I don't know. I'm just like, if you felt this way, why did you get her that?
because I don't think she's a bad person. I feel like,
No, she's absolutely not a bad person. I just wish
yeah,
that we had. I wish that this episode was earned, and I didn't feel like this specific storyline and the way that it shaked out. I didn't think that it was earned in the way that we got it because it just felt so
you
odd.
know why? Because George did not show up on campus for his woman. So it felt
Please,
very incomplete. What would have
sure,
sold?
that's why it was in the complete.
That's why, because we didn't get that end shot with him pulling
Please,
up outside, standing
no,
outside the
we were
car
never
waiting.
gonna get that.
What?
I never thought we were. I never thought that was a possibility.
They cut it.
They really had. Listen, I'm sorry. This is the last thing I'll say. They even had Amara not coming to Layla's defense. That just made me laugh.
Yo, the fact that I could have sworn Auntie Amara was gonna bring this girl, she was gonna bring back family dinner just for one day to invite her
Nope.
over.
She doesn't get.
Lazy
Okay, I know
Auntie.
people are gonna be like, y'all have been talking about this for like 40 minutes now, but like it just it makes zero sense. It's like Layla is the one that has to live with all this. Like Lando can get invited to family dinner.
Wild.
Thea at the time being wild can get invited to the family dinner. Thea calling Simone the B word can still get invited to family dinner.
Family dinner. She's still up in there eating Auntie mac and
And not
cheese.
only just get invited to family dinner, be welcomed by Amara, but Layla, the person that was just like, oh, you just broke up with Simone, like you and Simone just broke
Right?
up, you were just married, blah blah blah. No, you don't get any rights on homecoming. I'm sorry.
Yo. Like my
You gotta
girl.
beg and grovel. You gotta get yelled at. You gotta
They
get yelled at in
play.
public. And guess what? You're gonna unpack your trauma, and then like she's still gonna leave. Like, and then you're gonna be called a victim by fans. She's always making herself out to be a victim.
Bro, they played homegirl. Auntie said, nah, you ain't coming to family dinner. You better DoorDash. I said, nah, I'm not taking this.
But Jordan still got the invite. Jordan and Spencer. Look, the
Both.
Vortex mess wasn't enough to keep Spencer and Jordan out the family dinners. Anyway, all that I don't even know how much of this is going to remain in the episode, but I'm glad that I have all this on tape. Yeah, and then Simone,
Oh my gosh, we didn't even make it there. Yup, see? Talking about she need less mess.
she somebody switched out her pee for her drug test, and she got suspended because they said that they found drugs in her system.
All that work.
All that work, all that work. Thanks for listening to Film Study at All American Universe podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.